Okay, so far I checked the grade book, and 8 people are losers. I'm sorry, have not registered on to My Labs Plus. You know, very difficult thing. All you got to do is log on. So,
As soon as I get a computer,
yeah, as soon as the dog, you know, gets to eating your computer and grandma doesn't die 3 times and all this crap.
I gotta get it.
Yeah, we know.
I'm gonna get it today.
Yeah,
You'll see.
Right before the unit test. Can you help me register? I don't want to hear it. Grandma can only die 3 times. All right, so let's move on to the book, if I can find it. I don't know if I don't think I have any homework. Yeah, some people have done some homework questions, and I'm going to wait because I think there's only 1 or 2 sent in, so I'm going to wait till everybody gets started on their homework. I did have a question about the attempts. I think one of y'all, I think it might have been Miss Scarborough, said that somebody has set it to 3 times that you can do the answer. Let me explain why that is. In the math department, we have about 5 or 6 full-time employees in the department head. And the department head does this for some reason. I'll let y'all decide why. She gives each one of us 2 or 3 classes to be in charge of. Okay? So, like I'm in charge of 110, 111, and calculus. All right? And another teacher is in charge of 103 and 120, and that kind of thing. Well, whoever's in charge of it sets up the benchmark class on My Labs Plus. So they go through and set up the parameters on the initial class, and then it's copied into the different teachers' schedules. You understand? So the person that's in charge of 120 set up the homework to only have 3 tries. We have teachers like that. Okay? So they believe that if you cut off the repetition, y'all don't learn anything, or y'all learn more. I don't understand that. To me, I always thought repetition meant the more you do it, the more you learn. That's what I always thought. But there's some teachers that said if you don't get it after 3 times, you're not going to learn it, so you might as well give it up. So they cut it off at 3 times. Don't fret. There's no date. There's no turn-in date. I'll fix it eventually. Okay? And I'll probably fix it the day after class because I have that 2-hour gap between classes and I'll be sitting at work. So I'll probably fix it after classes. Okay? So if you wondered about that, I'll fix it. Ms. Scarborough, were you the one that emailed me about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'll fix it after class, and thank you for bringing that up. And anytime you see a problem or you see a question that doesn't make any sense, don't tell me about it. What do you do if you have a question on homework and you don't understand it? You hit the button that says Ask My Instructor, and it sends it directly to me. I love these students that come up and says, I had a question on number 13. Okay, did you send it to me? No. I wrote it down. You know why I don't accept people writing down problems? My second semester here, I was teaching a class called Intermediate Algebra, which is now 102. And I was doing a problem, and the student said, I had a problem, can you do it on the board? And I said, yeah. Here it is. She wrote it down and gave it to me. And I did the problem. I did that problem 6 times on the board. I could not get the answer that she got. I did it 6 times. So I looked it up in the book. Back then we didn't have force compass and all that, so I looked it up in the book. Guess what? She wrote the problem. She wrote the problem down wrong. So since then, I never accept a written down problem. Okay? Because, of course, that was my second semester teaching. I was nervous as a cat. And, of course, Bubba sitting in the back, when I didn't get the right answer the first time, Bubba in the back don't know what the hell's going on. He said, yeah, man, you got it wrong. You're stupid. You know, he didn't say you're stupid, but, yeah, man, that's wrong. You know what you're doing? How are we entitled? Let's see, what is the age-old? How are we supposed to understand if you can't even do it? He didn't even have his book open. He didn't even know what was going on. I hate people like that. I just want to, yeah, man, you're wrong. What day is it? I don't know. So anyway, if you ever have a question, I don't care how little it is, because if you have a question about it, guess what? Somebody else does too. So in my 103 class, my 109 class, the Polycom class, one of my students said, I sent you a homework problem, but it's so simple, you don't have to go over it. And this was before class started. I said, I guarantee you somebody sent the same one. No, it's real simple. Just go over it with me after class. So I pulled up the questions, and not only was there one question sent after hers, there was 4 of the same question. So she didn't feel as embarrassed with 3 other people sending in the same question. So that usually happens. All right. So I'll shut up. Okay, where's my... There it is. The first 2 chapters, I pretty much told you is what? Reading. So for those that didn't bring a book, make sure you copy what I go over today. I'm going to go over the 2 sections, 2 chapters in the next couple of days, the next week. Probably Monday or Wednesday, Tuesday or Thursday of next week, we'll start the math, which is in chapter 3. Okay? We'll start a little bit of math at the end of chapter 2, but not the heavy math that's going to make up 80% of your test. 80% of your test is going to come from chapter 3. Okay? And 90% of you know how to find the mean of 5 or 6 test grades. Y'all know how to find the mean. You may even know how to find the standard deviation. That's not the problem. The problem is when I ask you to find the mean and standard deviation of a frequency distribution. That's when y'all start to go, what? Okay, so those of you who think you know statistics, you may not know as much as you think you know. All right? And I always have to say that because there's always some NASA engineer in the group that invented mathematics that knows more than the teacher does. Y'all ever notice that? Especially in psychology. Any of y'all taking psychology? There's going to be a psychiatrist in the room that's read like 2 or 3 psychology articles, and he's a psychiatrist. And it's usually a he. Usually. Why is that? Okay. Go on with that. Now that's having the gift of discernment. I've been told I have that gift. And she's usually right. I get it from my dad. The gift of discernment. It's when you can tell somebody's a piece of crap or not. Yep. Already got a list for this class. All right. We're in chapter what? 1? All right. Look in your outline. What sections in chapter 1 we go over? Okay. So the first 5 sections. So those students that are going, I don't know where to start. That's why the outline is so important. That's why, look at that notebook. Ain't that pretty? She got it in the front of her notebook. That's where I told y'all to put it. Every day when you come to class, that's what you should be looking at. Therefore, if you go on vacation, you miss a day, you don't have to come up to me and ask me, what did you go over last week? What will I say? I have no idea. Okay? So make sure you keep it. I see some of you have bought the book. That's good. Has any of you printed out the book yet? Printed out sections? Good. Did it take 2 or 3 days? So how many sections did you print out? Oh my gosh, you printed out 10 sections? And it only took how long? It didn't take 30 days? Wow. I don't know why I've had students just self-combust when I tell them to print out sections of the book. They can't print out 1 page. They're still using the printout. They're still using the printer to go. Listen, you just don't realize the students that I get. Some of them, I tell you. Even my department head says, some of your emails you send me, you get some dumb students. I said, I know. I said, but I think everybody gets 1 or 2 deadheads. I call them deadheads. All right, here we go. Which most of y'all are not deadheads. So you're in college courses in your 11th, 12th grade year. That's good. I've had a 14-year-old in one of my classes before. Kid was smart. All right. Yeah, 1.1. I usually do this. And move this up a little bit where y'all can see it. So the person that can't see is sitting in the back of the room. That's where they usually sit, in the back of the room. You can see. Now, when I go through this stuff, I do realize that most of you have had probability and statistics, but that's not who I'm teaching to. I'm teaching to the student that's never had probability and statistics or sat through a probability and statistics class and have no earthly idea what they just went through. So that's who I'm teaching to. The rest of y'all can stay home if you want to. There's two meanings of statistics. Statistics you will be tested on. That definition. So make sure you put a star beside it. Make sure you write it down in your notebook if you don't have a book. Make sure you highlight it. Two definitions. Capital S. When you have a capital S in front of the statistics, and most books usually do that. I don't know about this one, but that's the old school way. When you see a capital S, that means the whole field. That means obtaining, accruing, obtaining, calculating, and interpreting data. That's the one you kind of stick statistician to. Person that studies statistics. You ever met somebody that studies statistics? Don't count me, because I'm not. I don't study statistics. Okay. I teach math. That's what I do. I don't. If you ever met somebody that studied statistics, you know what I'm talking about. They eat, drink, and sleep statistics. If you walk into their classroom and you say, "Oh, the probability of that happening is 50%," they'll have a cardio infarction, because you're supposed to say 0.5 probability. You're not supposed to say 50%. That type person, you know what I'm talking about? You will, if you ever take Math Science 301, you will see it. Because the teachers, I had Dr. Russell, he was the head of the statistics department at Clemson. He was different. Unique. You know, you always use the word different and unique when you want to say blessed, because that person is not normal. Hi, how are you? Little s statistics is a parameter or a variable for the population. Now, why did I use the word variable? Well, all of you have had algebra. And what are the letters in algebra called? Variables. They're numbers that they're letters that you stick numbers in for. All right? Well, when they say parameters in statistics, people have, what the heck is a parameter? Y'all think of a parameter, the definition of a parameter is a fence. You know, a fence around the property, or a symbolic fence around where you can go, or how far you can go with a certain topic, or whatever the case may be. You think of a fence type parameter. But to save confusion, I tell students a variable. All right? Variables in statistics, in the case of a sample, are usually written in terms of letters. Write that down. Lowercase statistics, which are parameters / variables for the sample, are usually written as letters. I'm going to explain why that's important, because some of you are going, yeah, I learned all this. But why do we learn it? Well, so we know where to stick in a number. No. You learn it so you don't sound ignorant when you're in a meeting 5 or 10 years from now in your job. That's why. Now, while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the population parameters are, or the population variables. The population variables are called, anybody know? It's one of those standardized test questions. That's why I thought you might see it on the SAT. Don't know? No, no, statistics is the parameter for the population. Population parameter is parameter. I think, yeah. I just had one of those, you ever forget your phone number? I just had one of those moments. Okay, and it's usually in the terms of a Greek letter. Just put Greek letter. You'll understand in a minute. Okay? Greek letters, usually you're going to see a sigma or a mu. Mu is like a backwards M, with a long tail. And sigma is like a little zero with a pompadour on, like Elvis, little thing on it. All right? Those are, when you see those, you know it's population. So if you're sitting in a meeting 5 or 10 years from now in your job, which statistics is just about in every job there is, okay? And you're during a meeting and you're sitting there and the person presenting throws up sigma is equal to 26, average age of 26, where sigma is 26, x bar is 24. Then you know then, because you remember your statistics class, that the second number, which is x bar, that's the sample. That's the sample average age. And whatever the first one I said, that's the population. Now what is population? Population is always the larger group. Write that down. This should be in here somewhere. It's always the larger group. Tri-County Tech students. That would be the population. Sample would be students at Anderson campus. That would be the sample. Somewhere in here there should be population. I think it's in here somewhere. There it is. Page, for those that don't have a book, page 5. Now the whole purpose for statistics, capital S, is for you to be able to predict what the population is going to be. So you use the sample to predict the population. That's your second yawn. You get 3, you have to throw you out. Mountain Dew, I don't understand why you don't drink stuff. Mountain Dew, okay? Dang old Code Red make you go through the roof, okay? Drink it. Put some coffee grounds in it or something. Wake up. As I tell my son, my 10-year-old know-it-all son, I tell him, you know, it kind of helps to go to bed before midnight. Kind of helps, you know, 9 o'clock. You wake up in the morning, you don't yawn as much. Easier to get around. It'll register about when he's 40. It'll register. Anyway, the sample statistic is always used to predict the population. Why do we use the sample statistic to predict the population? Because of 2 very important things in our lives. And what is that? I asked that yesterday from a 103 class, and they said food and water. Okay, yeah, food and water is important, but food and water doesn't have anything to do with math, okay? Okay, when we're talking about math and we're talking about doing a report for your job, that doesn't pertain to food and water, okay? Pertaining to your job, what is the most important 2 things in your job? Time and, golly, who taught you that? You have good parents or a good teacher somewhere. All right, time and money. Because time is the only thing you have to sell, if you think about it. When you graduate college, the only thing you're selling is your time. Whether you're a doctor, or whether you're a lawyer, or whether you're a production manager or industrial engineer and just been hired on at Michigan, you are selling your time. You remember when people retire, they say, "I've given 60 years of my life to this company." They've given their time. You are selling your time. So time, and what do you get for your time? Money. Time and money. One of them is changeable, the other one you can't do anything with. Which one? Which one is changeable and which one you can't do anything with? Time you can't do anything with. Time stays uniform. Remember that. Time equals uniformity. Time, uniform. Time not changing. As Yogi Berra says, the only thing that's not changing is time. Or something like he says one of those crazy things. All right? Now, the reason we use the sample to predict the population is because Michelin or the company that you work for does not want to take the time or the money to research 50,000 tires when you can just research 500. See what I'm saying? It takes less time and money to take 500 tires and sample 500 tires than it does take 50,000. Okay, now how do you do that? Well, there's things that we're going to do in 120 that check the accuracy of you predicting the population within a 95% confidence level or a 99% confidence level. That's what the confidence level, from those of you that had probability before, that's what confidence level does. You don't want anything below 90%. You walk into Michelin and you're making 5 or 6 figures with Michelin as a director of quality assurance. You're not going to walk in there and say, I got a 75% confidence level. And they're taking your input and putting it in next year's budget. With a 75% confidence level, you're fired. All right? You want a 90% or better. And that's in like chapter 6 or 7. Well, first we've got to learn how to walk. We've got to make sure everybody understands how to do statistics and how to do probability, and then we turn those two into confidence interval and how to be sure that you know what you're doing. Okay? All right. Descriptive statistic. That's not only a standardized test word, that's a test word in here. So you might want to write it down. Organizing and summarizing data. Think of your test grades. Your test grades. When you find the average, the median, the mode, and all that stuff, that's descriptive statistics. Inferential statistics is when you take results from a sample and extend it to the population. So that would be like Michelin example. Taking 500 tires and, okay, I predict with a 95% confidence level from these 500 tires that next year you're going to have 8% defective tires. That is called inferential. And that's what the definition right there is. Okay? So you got 2 types of statistics. One, I am so sorry. Why didn't somebody tell me to turn this on? Y'all suck. Y'all are all going to fail and live in a ditch the rest of your life. That's what I tell my son and daughter. I know. My daughter said, "Oh well, I failed that test." I said, "Good job. That's why you're going to live in a ditch." And I put it on Facebook, and everybody on there goes, "Oh my God, your dad said you're going to fail." People need to get a sense of freaking humor. Yeah, I'm going to get on Facebook and beat her with a bat. Good gosh. There we go. Inferential. Page 5. There we go. So the difference between descriptive and inferential is descriptive, you're taking numbers and you're processing the mean, median, and mode. Here, inferential is when you take the data that you get from a sample and predict the population. 500 tires predicting 50,000 tires. Okay, that's the difference. And you'd be surprised for how many people don't know the difference between those two, and they've sat a whole semester through probability. Go ahead. What?
So you're analyzing the population and descriptive.
No, in prescriptive, you're analyzing a set of data, like your test grades, or like the class test grades. You know, in some of your classes, does the teacher put up a class average on a test? Okay, that's called descriptive statistics.
It has nothing to do with population.
Not really. There is no population because you're dealing, yeah, exactly. You're just dealing with numbers of a set of numbers. Whether it be your numbers, your test grades, or whether it be the class. It's just a set of numbers. You could look at it as you are the sample out of the population. You could do that, but you can't predict the sample. Like if you made a C on Unit 1 test, I can't predict for the class with your C what people's going to make on the next test. Huh? Yeah, it's not enough information. And that what he just said is very important in statistics. Not enough. If you're a director of, and I use Michelin because they're right over here, okay? If you're a director, Coca-Cola Corporation or whatever, if you're an executive and you're executive of quality assurance, I'm going to use something else. Because people say, "Ooh, Michelin's not good enough for me." Whatever. 125,000 is not good enough. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, if you're a director with whoever, and you're the director of quality assurance, and you walk into a meeting, and the whatever you say is going to be put in next year's budget, to the deciding on next year's budget, you better have your ducks in a row, and you better pull plenty of tires instead of going in there. I just pulled 5. You're fired, because that's what's going to happen. You always got to have enough information, and it's not too bad in the CYA area also. CYA meaning CYA, cover your rear end. Yes.
So when you say that,
No. Go ahead.
when you say that you have a 95% confidence that 8% is covered, that means that you have a 5% off.
Yes. Yes. In other words, the higher the confidence, the more confident you are. Yes. And that's based on the numbers, not based on whether you're a good statistician or not. It's based on what the numbers give you. You can't get blood out of a turnip. Okay? You can't. If the numbers tell you it's a 95% confidence level, that's what you have to say. Now, the probability, the stuff we're going to get in chapter 7, if you get I saw that. That's a yawn. That's 1. If you get a 95% confidence level, then you go back and you go to the formula for a survey and you say, okay, I want a 99% confidence level. Then it tells you, okay, well, you got to survey 15 more people or 15 more tires or 1,500 more tires. So that's why you go back. So to get a higher confidence level, you have to get more information, just like you said. Okay? So you did your part for class today, so you can leave. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so now you know the difference between the two. That's a test question. There it is. A parameter is a numerical, it's a variable. Just knock all that out. It's a variable in population. Mu and sigma are what you're going to see a lot of. Mu, M-E-W, and sigma. Sigma, uppercase sigma, looks like a what? A funky E. Okay? Lowercase sigma looks like a zero, little zero with a loop on it. Greek letters, put that right there. Always in Greek letters. And these two sections will also help you if you do go to a Math 301, Math Science 301 or 305. And I'm using Clemson's numbers because that's the ones I can remember by heart. If you do go into a Math Science 301 or 305, you will already have the terminology. You've already had it. So you'll be well up on any class that you go into. Because a lot of people, if you walk up to them and ask, what's a parameter, they're going to look at you cross-eyed. They don't know. So it does help you to know these terms, even though we're not going to use them very much in the chapter 3. Qualitative and quantitative. There's an old saying, quality, not what? Quantity. Remember that. That'll help you remember the difference between the two. Quality is things about ourselves that can't be counted. Our hair color. Okay? I think this is the most gingers I've had in a class. I think 2. No, I'm just kidding. I think there's 3 or 4. All right? One guy yesterday, oh, come on, people, just turn around. I see 2. There 3 maybe? I'm looking at the guys. I couldn't tell. No, I don't see any guys. But anyway, where does this word ginger come from? Huh? Y'all really don't know, do you?
Slice to food.
Now you said a real smart thing a while ago. Don't mess it up. It's a food. It's a root. Yeah, go gnaw on a root. Put some ketchup on it. It's like a potato. Actually, it comes from Gilligan's Island. What color was Ginger's hair? Ginger, the actress, the one that wore the evening gowns on a deserted island. Her name was Ginger. It came from a study a long time ago, a statistical study. A group of men were surveyed. And what would they ask? Ginger or Mary Ann? And it was an actual study. You can look it up. And so many percent of the population, based on this sample, said that they would prefer Ginger over Mary Ann. Ginger being the Barbie, Mary Ann being the tomboy. Qualitative data means stuff you can't count. Okay, y'all need to start watching some old TV because the crap they show right now ain't good TV. Old TV. Qualitative, eye color, hair color. You can think of some other stuff, okay? I'll only come up with those two things right off the top of my head. Okay, because I got this is line of sight. That's what makes me think of it, okay? What about weight, height? Quantity. Just remember the widgets. If you can make, well, I'll use my mama's chicken salad. My mama's chicken salad is out of this world. I don't care what your mama's is, mine's better. Okay? Anyway, I told Mama one time that she ought to put it in plastic containers and sell them. Kind of like that crap they sell in the store called Ruth's. That stuff is nasty compared to my mama's. Anyway, I'm going to bring some chicken salad sandwiches. No, I quit doing that. You know why I quit bringing food or buying food for students? Because I bought biscuits one morning. I told students, no, I didn't buy them. I told students I was going to buy. I said, y'all come in here tomorrow and I'll have biscuits for you. Where from? Thank you. You got good parents. That's the first thing that should come to your mind when somebody offers you something. Beggars can't be what? Where from? They're free. Shut up. So that's why I quit buying. And then I buy the things. Oh, I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to this. Okay, well, don't eat. I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to this. Good. Eat a leaf. Go out there and get a leaf and eat it. I get so sick of these people. Oh, snowflakes. If you're allergic to something, then just go get some water and don't say it. Don't say anything. All right. Discrete, variable, and continuous. This is another test question. Now, when I do this, I usually go into I'll just give you an example. Discrete is anything counted. You don't need to write all that. Discrete is anything counted. Continuous is anything measured. Let's say I come into class one day and I have a box of measuring devices. What does that mean? Well, any of y'all's parents, carpenters or grandparents, carpenters? You ever seen one of those carpenter's rulers that fold up? It's a wooden carpenter's ruler. There's some of those in there. Then there's tape measures, yardsticks. Then there's tape measures that have a digital readout because you can't read a dadgum ruler. Okay? Then there's all different kinds of measures. And I tell you to go outside. Okay, 2 people done yawn. That was your third. All right, you got to leave. And I tell you to go outside and measure the fire hydrant. How tall the fire hydrant is. How many, and there's 30 people in here. How many measurements am I going to get back? 15 different measurements. Why? Well, because half of y'all can't read a measuring tape. That's one reason. Okay? The second reason is some of y'all, being the good students that you are, would go out there and brush the dirt away and find out where the fire hydrant meets the metal pipe, the water pipe. Some of you would do that. Some of you would be lazy. Be lazy and just go out there and just start from the pine needles or mulch. You start from the mulch and go to the top. There's a difference of about 6 inches there, okay, between mulch and dirt and whatever. See why you're going to get several different. So anytime you measure something, you're going to get different replies. Write that down. Measuring renders different outcomes. The number one most missed question, I saw that yawn. The number one most missed questions out of chapters 1 and 2 is this right here. You are told to measure a tree. It actually says measure. And people say it's discrete. I don't understand how easy I can make it. Discrete is counted. If I lock the gate of the parking lot, both gates, and I tell you to count the cars in the parking lot, discrete or continuous? Measuring the tree, continuous. Simple as that. But I put weighing each person in the class, and you put discrete. What is weight? Something measured. What is height? Something measured. Volume? Something measured. That would be discrete. You just use the word count. Anytime you use the word count or see the word count, it's discrete. Anytime you see the word measure, it is continuous. Simple as that. That's the number one most missed question on my test. In the chapter 1, 2 definitions. I don't know why. No coughing in class. Need to lay them Marlboro Reds down. They're killing you. 5 packs a day. I had a drill instructor at Paris Island. I swear he smoked 5 packs of Marlboro Reds a day. And he drank like 5 gallons of coffee. And he never brushed his teeth. To this day, I get sick whenever I smell either of those two things. Because they get about this far from your face, hollering at you. Nominal. I don't test you on this, but you need to put for your information, for your homework, as well as future statistics courses. And it's self-explanatory. A nominal, and they have another one. Let me see if it's on the next page. I'll come back. Hold on. They usually give you a little thing at the end of the chapter. They don't. Okay, they don't. They took it out. So just use. Come on. Just use that. Ordinal means order. If they talk about a race, that's ordinal. Anything having to do with order, first, second, or third, that's order. A variable, interval, value of 0 does not mean the absence of quantity, where a value of 0 means the absence of quantity. And they give you some examples on the next page. So make sure you, page 9, make sure you reference that for the different types as for your information. Meaning you might have a homework question on it, so make sure when you get to that homework question you have those 4 things right there. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Nominal is variable addition, name scheme, and just any order, any type of set of numbers like the test grades. And I think they give you some. And they could be both. Okay, they give you some examples right here. There we go. They used to have pictures, a little pictograph of before. I don't know why they took it off. I guess, something that works. What do? You remove it, yeah. Something that works real well, take it out. Temperature is interval. Okay? Number of days during the past week. That's ratio. Letter grade, meaning the grade that you get at the end of the semester, is ordinal. Why? Because you can get 1 of 4 grades or 5 grades. A, B, D, C, or live in a ditch. Okay? I'm sorry, what? Ratio right here. Which one was ratio? Oral ratio, number of days. No, nominal. No, that's male and female. Sorry. Temperature, C. Number of days during the week is ratio. Because the ratio of two values makes sense and a value of 0 has meaning, 0 days. You can't use temperature for 0 because, I mean, for ratio, because people will argue about 0 in science. 0, some people say 0 is the absence of temperature, and it's not. 0 is just a measurement. I'm not going to split hairs with you. I'm just going to tell you, okay? Don't think that the ratio is temperature, because it's not. All right? Letter grade, ordinal. Anything having to do with any type of pattern or order is ordinal. If I was to give you a test question, it would be ordinal, because that's the easiest question I can give you. All right? I do not expect for you to be a statistician when you get out of this class. Okay? My goal is for you to be well-rounded in an introduction to statistics to go on to a Math Science 301 and 305. That's what my goal is. Y'all won't. Okay. Y'all need to bring coffee. Don't bring coffee because it stinks. All right. Bring Mountain Dew tomorrow, Thursday. Okay. Everybody bring a Mountain Dew or kill one before you come in here. And go to bed before midnight, like I did. I think I stayed up until like 1 o'clock last night. I watched a movie last night that was really coherent about these people that lived in this house, or they had a party in this house, and a comet went over and it exposed the different realities in other houses. So when they went outside to find out where the power went out, and then the lights come back on, but they went outside, there was no people outside. So they broke the light stick, the blue light stick, shaped light stick, and went outside, and there was a person with a red light stick, and a yellow light stick, and a purple light stick, and when they walked up to each other, they were the same person. So of course they took off running because they were scared to death. Yeah, it was a crazy movie, because then when the lights would go out, one person would come in the house and couldn't explain where they were, and by the end of the movie they couldn't figure out if this blonde-headed chick was from the red group or the blue group, and whether this guy over here, this bald-headed guy, was from the yellow group or the purple group, and they were trying to figure out how to get back into their own groups on their own reality. It was a quantum physics extravaganza. I love reality. Huh? No, it's called Coherent. Yep. It's a good movie. It's really strange. Okay. Movie review over. Let's go to the next section, which is 1.2. What's the difference between an observation and an experiment? Think of an observation, write down watching people sleep. You ever seen the videos of people with sleep apnea in the green night vision, and they turn and wake up and sit back down, lay back down? You ever watch one of those videos? Yeah. That is an observation. You wire somebody up, you put a video camera on them, and you watch them. I did an observation when I worked at Walmart. I took super glue and put it on a silver dollar and put it in the main action alley. And that was before the days of cameras on your phone. It was great. One old lady, she's about 98 years old, she decided she was going to go out in her car. She went over, no, she didn't. She went over to hardware. Went over to hardware, got a hammer and a chisel. She started and she still couldn't get it up. So that silver dollar's probably still over there. Go over to Cape, what is it now, Roses? Go over to Roses and see if it's still there. It may be still there. I don't know. But we would do stuff like that. That's observation. Observation is when you don't do anything. Now I did, to set up the observation, I did do something. I super glued it to the floor. But, any of y'all work in Target or Walmart or any retail? Do y'all work? Y'all suck. Huh? Where do you work? I'm sorry, what? Oh, okay. No, it wouldn't work good in there. There's too many people standing around. No, it wouldn't work good there. You have to have an open area like a Walmart or a Target. You have to do something like that. And then we'd also take the deer and rut formula, which is called Fox Peak, and we'd get in the overalls area and spray people's feet with that stuff. We did crazy stuff like that. And when they got in their car would smell like. I was bad. I should tell you all that. Yeah, this old lady, she come through. She didn't have any teeth. She didn't have tooth in her head. I smell polecat. And ever since then, every time somebody says polecat, I think of that old woman. She's probably dead now. But anyway, observational study. That's when you look at somebody. You do not interfere with it. You just look. You watch. An idea of an observational study would be a rat in a maze. Watching the rat, watching to see what it does, watching drunk people get tased. I love watching that. You ever gone to YouTube? I love watching drunk people get tased. We'll have to watch one day. We'll watch it at the end of the class. How about that? We'll watch the guy on the lawnmower get tased. Now he's going down the oyster shack. What about an experiment? An experiment is when you enter something into the observation. Think of the rat in the maze, and you put a block of cheese with peanut butter on it in the maze. What's going to happen to the rat? I'm sorry, that's not politically correct. The mouse. Calling it a rat, give it a sense of negativity. What would happen to the mouse? He'd go crazy because he smelled that peanut butter and the cheese. Okay? The reason you put peanut butter on it is to add a little bit more excitement to it, because he'd smell that peanut butter. He wouldn't even worry about getting out of the maze. He'd worry about if you've changed the outcome or the process of the observation, and that's why it's called an experiment. So if you enter something into an observation, that's considered an experiment. Okay? That's a good SAT question, GRE question, praxis question. That's a standardized test question. The difference between observation and an experiment. Okay. I'm about fed up with this yawning. Compounding, I don't go into compounding. Lurking variable? No, I don't think so. Lurking. I don't go into any of this stuff. You sure we go into this section? What is this? Okay, I guess it is. Census. Another for your information, but I don't think anybody in here goes through 12 years of school and not know what the word census is. Okay, don't raise your hand. Okay, if you don't know, just write it down. That's one of those words that everybody in here should know. Something that's taken every 10 years in the United States, so we know how many different kinds of people are living in the United States, how many different ages are living in the United States, how many different socioeconomic levels we got in the United States, that kind of thing. Might as well do this while I'm at it. All right, Barr. Just say here. Bauer. Billingsley. Blackman. Loser. Brown. Busby. Butler. Byram. Carey. Cheek. Duval. Elmore. Gill. Gomez. Groves. Eaton. Hudson. Hunter. Cole. Kowal. Lindley. Malcolm. Rapp. Rogerson. Rosa. Rucker. Scarborough's here. Schuster. Waldsmith. And Yoder. Dang, everybody here but one person. That's good. Well, that's covered. Let's take a break and watch the. Where's my YouTube?
Have you seen those dudes at the party yet? They ran out of the car.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. I saw this one where this dude was getting breathalyzed. He got him.
No, I'm not. What? Where? They drunk. They don't know what they're doing.
Look up the video.
I'm only going to look up one video, and then we're going back talking. So, okay. So those of you packing up, I don't know what y'all are doing. Drunk people getting tased, huh? What? What's in my favorites? Turn the front light off. This is the first one. It's the front one. You know it's illegal? It's not lawful. You know, people, it is, but it's funny. He gets tased. The cigarette thing. You got people trying to get out of the flood, but they get their cigarettes. There's a picture on national news. This woman's crying, and she's got her Pall Mall cigarettes. Got them. Oh, give me a cigarette. The reason I can't show you the real is because the language is so bad. It's drunk people. You'll have to look those up on your own. So this is statistical, okay? If you follow the orders of a policeman, there is a 0% chance that you're going to get tased.
I'm observation.
Yeah, this is an experiment. if you go to drunk people being tased, you will actually see a whole lot more graphic. They get tased. I love watching them get tased. This guy right here got tased like 5 times. So you knew he was high. Okay.
There was this one video where this dude got tased and they're like doing nothing. I'm gonna beat you.
No, look
Have you seen that drunk guy on the scissor lift that was going down the interstate?
That's Steve. That's Steve. He gets drunk and has a case on the scissor lift. That's Steve.
Do that 13 seconds.
No, I'm not gonna do any more because I don't know the language. I'm not. That Steve has got the cleanest one. That's why I showed that one. But this guy right here, he got tased like 5 times. You got to watch that one. It's the one with the pickup truck. He's a real DA. Let me tell you. You know, that's gonna make it better. Back talking the police. And people wonder why I ain't even going there. All right, so observational study. Don't get tased. All right. Let me go back to where I was. I done forgot where I was. Well, where's my? Oh, there it is. Go away. I talked about census, and that's 1.2. 1.3, probably going to get into random samples. Yeah. Okay, what is a random sample? This is a test question. It's also one of those standardized test questions that may pop up. If I take and I put, I got a free biscuit up here. Okay? Free. The key word is free. That means thank you. All right? I got a biscuit up here, and I'm going to give it away to one student. So I put everybody's name on a Post-it note. You write your name on a Post-it note, and I tell you to fold it in half. And then I put it in a bowl, shake it up, and let somebody pick one Post-it note out, and that person wins the biscuit. Okay? What is that? That is a random sample. What's the key word? Why is that a random sample? What? All I heard was, no. It's random, but what does random mean?
Everything is the same.
By chance.
Everyone has the same what?
Chance.
Everyone has the same chance. Write that down. That is how you define a random sample. Everybody has the same chance. Well, what if one person decides to change their folding pattern into quarters? It's not cheating because the person that picks out of the fishbowl, they could either grab it or they could push it away because it's not folded the same way, because they feel the way it's folded. So, does everybody have the same chance if one person folds it differently? No, it's changed. Everything's changed. Now, this brings up what is so important to statistics, and that's being neutral. Write that down, being neutral. Being neutral is essential to statistics. The opposite of being neutral is a word, little short word, starts with a B. Bias. Can anybody give me an example of bias? Anybody?
Racism.
Yeah, that's a certain form of bias, yeah, but that's not statistical. But racism could be biased in statistics. In other words, if I tell you to go out and do a survey, and the survey is, do you have air conditioning in your house? And you only give it to Asians for some reason. That would be racist. You would have racism inside because you're only giving it to one set of people for some reason. I don't know why. Okay? All right? Now, I use those two things loosely, but that would, you can have racism inside it, but it wouldn't be biased. It would be just plain racist. All right? Bias is when you project your own what? Your own feeling onto the data. Your own opinion. Yeah, say like your dad owned tires or something, or had a tire lot or whatever, sold tires or whatever, and you did a survey for him, you would be biased, okay, on what tires or whatever. It's when you can't be neutral, okay? What today, as you think of, is a consideration of bias? I'm still asking you to think of something that's biased. You got it. The media. Huh? Scholarships could be biased, yes. Colleges could be biased. Yeah, that's true. There is a lot of biasing going on, but it's not in statistics. It's just in the world, okay? But in statistics, let's say that I give 3 students in here jobs, and the three people that I pick, they need to work on this one thing. Let's see, what would I use? Who's going to be the next president of the United States? Okay, I'll use something totally out of character, because we don't know who's going to be the next president of the United States. And I give, what's her last name? Miss Bauer. She's to write the questions on the survey. She's to write 10 questions to find out what people are leaning toward, blah, blah, blah. And she likes the president now. Let's say she likes the president now. And she says, the president's doing a good job. What do you think would be an example of the president doing a bad job? Okay. Now, is that question a good question? Why? Because she starts off saying the president is doing a good job right now. Okay? That is biased. All right? Well, she puts 10 questions together. All right? And then she gives it to Mr. Barr. What's your last name? Barr. Mr. Barr's job is to pass it out. Okay? And he passes out to 100 people. But he only passes it out to he only passes out to his friends that he works with. Is that biased? Is that biased, or is it? Well, it depends on the context. If he works at blah 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 blah, and everybody there hates Hillary Clinton or whatever, then it's biased, because he's handing out to all the people that hate Hillary Clinton. All right, I'm just using that loosely. All right. What should he hand them out to? First of all, she should make her questions neutral. What do you think is a good president? What makes up a good president? Is the president supposed to be a moral leader? Is blah, 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 blah. These are down the line questions. And he was to hand them out. And then, your name? Miss Malcolm? Miss Malcolm's job is to, and she's a neo-Nazi, okay? She can't stand everybody, all right? She hates everybody. She hates Jewish people. She hates Asian people. She hates everybody. So she takes the data, and it says, well, it's kind of 50-50. People like either way. Well, I'm just going to change these numbers right here. That's being biased. Can't be biased in 2 or 3 areas. Name somewhere that you should not be biased. In statistics, school, media should not be biased. I remember when the media at 7 o'clock news, they reported what? The news, and then they went off. It was in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. They got all of the national news. And you know how many anchors there were? 2. You go to the news now, there's like 8 people there. And they don't report the news. They say, I think. It's not right. But anyway, Miss Scarborough, you still there, or are you asleep?
I'm here.
She left. No. Okay.